So she was wash that hat and wash that hat, you know, in the window, and it wasn't sold Saturday night before Easter. Well, she was delighted because Monday morning she was right down there the first thing, and she got that hat and she put it on her head, you know, and it looked so good. It was just the hat she wanted, and it was 1/3 off. And so, and as she's putting on this hat, she sees another hat, you know, sitting there on the counter. So she took off the first hat and she put on this first hat, and a woman came along, and the woman was fascinated by Dora, and Dora's quite tall. And so Dora says, "You like this hat?" And the woman says, "I love that hat." And Dora says, "I think this is a wonderful hat." And the woman says, "That's my hat." What you can think of, Sally?
Well, there is one thing I would like to add, and that's that if you do happen to leave the area, there's never any problem. International sends your name on to the city where you're going, and probably the first phone call you get when your phone is installed is from a sister of Beta
Isn't that
Sigma Phi.
keen?
We like to say you have instant friends.
That's right.
So you see, once you get into this group, you can't get out of it.
Right.
Right. Let's see now, Carolee. Is it Carolee? Coral.
Right.
Yeah, come on over, Carolee. Right. Yeah, right. There you are, hon. Can't you put in a good word for this great group?
It's a terrific group,
Really?
really.
Yeah.
And I might add, when Sally was talking about transfers, she transferred from the Philippines. So you
She
see
did?
They're all over the world,
Yeah.
not just in the United States.
Right. That's neat. So it truly is an international organization. You were down at the end of the road there, and you were, how fast were these girls going by when you flagged them down?
They weren't going too fast. I think they were kind of looking. Right.
We had just headed home to call Carol to find out where we were supposed to be.
Now, you ladies who've gone through the line, have you had any afterthoughts, anybody? Anything you'd like to say? And be, come right over, Evelyn, then. Evelyn says, "I have an afterthought," and then she said to her sister, "Go tell them about it."
This is Bunny's idea.
Oh, it's Bunny's idea. All right.
I forgot to tell you that we do have a scholarship.
Oh, good. Then would you come over and stand to my good? That way you'll be facing the folks. Yeah, tell us about the scholarship.
We do have a scholarship. Every year we alternate Bangor High School, Brewer High School, and John Baptist High School.
Neat. And how do people apply for this?
Oh, yes, we have a mitten bank, too, Bunny says.
A mitten bank.
It's for the fine arts, I think. It's chosen at the school. Someone that qualifies, that needs the help and so forth.
I'm a poor graduate student in physics. Could you help me out?
I think so. I think so. What high school?
We're getting a, hold it, folks, we're getting a hot word here from Peggy Youngblood. What was it, Peggy, we should talk about?
Well, all I was interested in was notifying people that Beta Sigma Phi is very much interested in joining with other community efforts toward making Bangor and Brewer a better place to live. For instance, we would love to see a winter carnival in this area, and so would so many other organizations.
Yeah, you can make Bangor and Brewer a much better place to live. I'll just move out.
Well, that's a start, but there are a few other problems. I think people who move in here would like to see more community activities and more organizations that they could join.
Sure they would, right. Anybody? Yeah, here comes our esteemed president right over here on the T-square.
The thing I wanted to bring out was our main state convention this year is going to be in Bangor.
Neat.
June 8th, 9th, and 10th at Husson College.
All those drunken women are coming into Bangor.
And our theme is Happiness is Making Friends.
Nice. Very nice. That's good. These are, the afterthoughts, I think, are better than the main thoughts. Anybody else have anything? Our Philippines member, won't you come back and tell us how you happen to come to Bangor from the Philippines?
My husband retired from the service, and we came to Bangor to live.
You decided to stay with him, right? You decided to come with him.
Right.
Right. And he was in what?
He was in the Air Force.
In the Air Force, right. How do you like it up here? Nice.
We love it.
Yeah.
We've spent 15 years in the tropics.
Oh, boy.
And so it's been a really pleasant change. I think I'm the only person in Bangor that prays for snow.
Well, sure. Sure, now we know who it is. Well, that's grand. This has been Beta Sigma Phi International Sorority. And if anybody else have anything you'd like to say? Well, this is your last chance. Anybody? All right. Well, we really enjoyed being with you this morning. And thanks so much, girls, for coming. You gave us a grand program. Bye, everyone. Be as nice as you can to everybody. It's gymnastics and games. Could you just give us an idea of what it consists of? You know?
Well, some days we would have in gym tumbling exercises like that.
That's what you have at recess in school, isn't it?
Well, something like that. And other days we might play a game like bombardment or
Oh, yeah, right.
kickball.
Yeah, right. Bombardment is what you do on the way to the cafeteria, I hear. And what do you do in the pool?
In the pool, first we have a period of lessons, and after that we have a little while to play in the pool or practice what we just learned.
Oh, yeah, and you like it a lot, right?
Yes.
And who's your teacher down there?
The pool director is Betty Solanzolo.
Oh, yeah. And would you recommend to the boys who are your age to come down and take part in that?
Well, I think if they really were interested in swimming and gymnastics, they could come down. And if they don't have to be too strong in the water because the wire will build them up.
Oh, good. So they could just come down after school any night, dear, Andre?
Well, they'd have to come down first and sign up with Bill.
What day?
They could come down any day, and Bill would put them in their age level group.
Oh, and that's how it goes.
Yes.
Andre Cushing, I think you're going to grow up to be a Bill Bennett yourself. You like the Y so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And now we have handsome Kevin Wright. Hi, Kevin. Tell the folks about your particular interest at the Y.
Well, it's gymnastics.
And you go right ahead.
Right. It's a group of boys that form a team, and they have to have a certain amount of skill and ability for gymnastics. It takes an awful lot of practice and time
does?
to get good.
It does, really?
Right.
Like how many hours, maybe a day?
Geez, at least 1 or 2. If they have a lot of time, it would be 6 to really get good.
And you, and this could maybe lead to the Olympics, right?
Yes, I think we have about 3 possibilities for the Olympics.
You do, really?
Mhm.
And would you like to get into this type of work?
Yeah.
When you grow up? Yeah, and in what way? In a Y or in a college or?
I'd like to get a scholarship into college and go to the Olympics, and then try to work out some kind of coaching for gymnastics.
I bet you'd be very good at it, Kevin. In gymnastics, that would be your field, right?
Right.
Yeah. And you have a horse down there and ropes and all
Well,
those?
we have a piece of apparatus, which is the side horse, the high bar, the rings, trampoline. We also use the mats for tumbling and floor exercises, but that isn't a piece of apparatus, but it is used.
Yeah. It's a good thing you don't use your baby sister for the trampoline, right? Thanks a lot, Kevin, right? And now we have Ted Taylor, folks. Handsome Ted Taylor with the blonde hair and the brown eyes. Ted, tell the folks your interest at the Y.
Well, I'm the vice president of the Leaders Club.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, and we help the teachers at the Y with the kids. We ref games or tell them how to do an exercise or two.
To serve the
good.
people,
You like it a lot?
if they are interested in receiving either a high school diploma or an equivalency of that, please see us. It's free.
It is.
It is free. For Bangor residents or non-residents. The only charge that we have for registration is for the avocational programs. And this second term, we'll be starting one for gymnastics for women. This should be interesting.
I think he's getting through to me.
And this will be offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It'll be an hour each evening. And I think it should be interesting. Charlotte Haskell will be the instructor.
Oh, yeah.
And it should be a good program.
Oh, very good, yeah. Meet some of the prestigious members of the McAlpine Couples Club. And first of all, we'd like to know if Helen McInnes would come forward. Helen? Hi, Helen. Helen has just returned, right up here, Helen. Helen has just returned from touring England, and Scotland, and Germany. Tell us about some of your nice experiences.
Well, we had a grand time. One of the first problems we had was when my husband tried to drive. And if any of you have ever driven a car in Britain, it's a new experience. The roads are about yay wide. You drive on the wrong side of the street. The driver sits over on the right-hand side.
Yeah. Yeah.
The right-hand side.
Right, and then he's over in the left lane.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's the way the women drivers do here, right?
Right. Wasn't too bad. We were doing quite well until the car broke down in Scotland. And, it was quite an experience. We were delayed a day and a half. But it was a real nice place that we were stopped at.
Where was that?
in one of these small towns like up in Maine, where they have a post office, a gas station, and a hotel and a pub. So it was a very nice town, though. But when they sent the relief car down, it was a 4 on the floor, and it's bad enough my husband hasn't driven a gear shift car in years.
Your husband's shiftless for another year.
Right, right. No fair, he isn't here.
Oh, he isn't here.
And besides that, you shift with your left hand.
Oh, you do?
Oh, yes, you shift with your left hand.
Oh, right, because you're sitting, that's right, yeah.
So it was kind of...
Hi, Jan. Now, Jan, I was wondering who that intelligent face belonged to. Yes, sure. I did. Jan, you enjoy collecting antiques?
Well, I call them antiques. A lot of people call them junk, but especially my husband, he calls them junk. But I have to...
Did you say your husband is one of her antiques?
Well, yeah, sort of. He's sort of an antique, yeah. About Abraham Lincoln time, sort of. But, no, when I get an antique, I usually go, like, to a garage sale or something. I bring it home, and I quick scrub it up real good. And I stand it in a corner, in a very nice corner, so my husband comes in, he thinks it looks, you know, nice. But I have a lot of fun.
So that means you do all your antique buying during the day.
That's right. And then my husband, he's very patient. He fixes them up, and I think...
He does?
Yes, he does. He's very good. I picked up an old ice box, which I always wanted, and I was riding down an old dirt road, and I saw an ice box out front, and I said to the lady, "How much you want for your ice box?" And she said, "Whatever you want, and give me for it." So I gave her $3, and I brought it home, and my husband antiqued it, and it's a big conversation piece in our house.
Well, yeah, what do you use it for now?
Well, we store glasses in it. When we have company, we store other things, you know. I can't say because Reverend Munson's back there. Oh, Pepsi Cola. That's right. It was Pepsi Cola.
Would you get a close-up of Reverend Munson, please?
It was. His wife will vouch for that. It was Pepsi Cola.
And you don't want to say anything more about it because Reverend Munson will be over there too often, is that it?
No, Reverend Munson hasn't made a trip to our house yet. I always keep the house spick and span, hoping someday he'll knock on the door. He'll be over one of these days. No, you put a block of ice in the top, and you put the pan underneath, and gee, have a ball.
No, you really do use it as an ice box?
Oh, yes, we really
Where do you
do.
get ice these days?
Well, I go to one of those ice... well, I have to get the cubes. I can't get the chunks.
Oh,
so
I see. Yeah, right. I remember those. Do you remember them?
That's why I got them. Oh, I love it.
No, do you remember them? You don't. But do you? Sure, I remember. And listen, Jan Slominski, one thing I want to One thing I want to ask you about, while I was talking to these people up in Maine, they're wild to get a roll-top desk. Why is this so valuable now?
Oh, gee, I couldn't tell you. I don't know that much about antiques. As I said, mine are mostly junk. Like, I have a little pot-belly stove, and I have a whipple tree, or I think you call it a whipple tree, I'm not sure, from, maybe George Dahman could tell me, from a cart, you know, where you used to put the, are you that old, George? I don't know. You put the rings, you know that thing I have in my, yes, all right. I bought it for $1 at a garage sale. And I bring it home, and I said, where are we going to put it? So we put it in our family room, and my husband says, well, now what are we going to do with it? So I said, gee, I don't know. He says, maybe we ought to put beams up in the family room. So that down there, we put beams up in the family room. We went out and bought a horse collar, blinders, that's mounted on the wall. We have a butter churn, a rug beater, everything for this one thing I paid $1. To a garage sale, I picked up an old rocker that was stuffed with horse hairs. And I carried it home. I carried this big rocker home, parked it out front, scrubbed it up real good so it would look nice. My husband came home. He says, I hope you didn't pay anything for that. I didn't tell him I paid $4 for it. I told him $1 then, but it was really $4. I confess I couldn't keep it any longer. I did pay $4 for it. I lied. And you should see it. It's beautiful. He refinished it, and he covered it with... what do you cover it? Crushed velvet? Yeah. And it looks real nice. I have it in my living room. Yeah. Oh, in the commode. A lady...
Wait just a second, please.
Are you running out of tape? I
Can you get a club? No. It isn't that. I want to shut it off.
Can I tell you? You want to shut that off for me?
No, I didn't want to shut you out. I just wanted to...
I'll just tell you one more thing. A lady from church was going to throw this little stand out, and I call it a commode. Whenever I say a commode, somebody's looking for the bathroom or something, but it's really a commode. And she used it downstairs to store her washing powder on. And it was all white. It was painted white with linoleum on and everything. And I said, Ruth, if you're going to throw that out, I'll take it. So my husband over to pick it up, and he says, what are we going to do with that? So I had a brainstorm. I get the brainstorms, he does the work. So we covered it. He refinished it. He put shutters on, used the little doors, you know, and they and he put a back on it. And I have a bowl and pitcher on it now, and everybody that comes in, he stained it cherry wood, and everybody that comes in, they just marvel at it. So the lady who gave it to me came out, and she looked at it, and she says, that isn't the same stand you get. I said, yeah, it is. She said,
I'm not going to give you anything anymore. No. I thought she was going to say, I want it back.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So as I said, antiques, I mean, I like vases and things that are antiques, but I really don't know the value of the things. If it looks old and dilapidated, I think it's an antique, so I buy it and I bring it home.
Oh, like Mr. Harms.
Yeah, I've offered him to come home, but he doesn't want to be refinished or anything like that.
Well, Jan Slominski, there's one thing I wanted to ask you.
What's that?
Well, I was just wondering about your old rocker, you know, that you're fixing there, right? And if you're not sitting in it, people think you're off your rocker.
Right, that's right. Sometimes I feel as though I am off my rocker, but other times, and by the way, it's the most comfortable rocker. Anybody's welcome to come out and sit in it. It's beautiful.
Jan, I think Jan would be great as an auctioneer, don't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Thank you, Jan Slominski.
If it do be I, which I do hope it be, I've a little dog at home, and he'll know me. If it do be I, he'll wag his little tail. If it be not I, he'll loudly bark and wail. So home went the little old woman all in the dark. Up jumped the little dog, and he began to bark. He began to bark, and she began to cry. Lack a mercy on us, this is none of I.
Where did you learn that?
Well, I think I must have learned that when I was a child.
In Levant?
No.
Where?
Oh, probably around Bangor area somewhere.
Did you take elocution?
Yes.
Elocution was quite a thing to do, wasn't it, at one time?
Well, I thought it was. I liked it.
But do they do that, though, now so much?
I don't know.
I don't
that
hear
they
of
do.
it.
No, I don't know that they do. Of course, they have speaking courses.
I suppose it's sort of the speech courses are an outgrowth of that, right? Yeah. Do they have any courses to help people shut up? Or just to speak more? Is that all they have?
Well, I think that would be a good thing, but I'm not sure whether they do or not.
Folks, for Nancy Crosby to get a close-up, well, I meant like at an angle, hon. Yeah, that's good.
Now, this is piping gel. It's green and blue to simulate water.
Oh, sure.
And we have swans that we made in class. This is with gum paste and royal icing.
Right. Oh, gum paste and royal icing.
Right. And you place the swans. I think one is the male, one is the female, because this male here is looking at the female. And she is sort of looking down.
Well, females sort of look up.
Oh,
but
they do?
Yeah, it must be the male. He's done something wrong.
That could very well be.
So this is Celia Case, folks. Now she's put swans in the water. And now what do you plan to do, Celia?
Well, I'll have some leaves and greenery and some flowers in the corners. And dress it up a bit.
This is a regular, is it like a pound cake, hon?
Yes, it could be in almost any type of cake, any box mix if you don't feel like baking from scratch. Really. Right. We use box mix.
Can you put it right down on the... Hold it right there. There. Yeah, right at an angle. So good.
Okay?
Yeah. Oh, fine. Thank you, Celia Case. Now, and this, what do you call this around here, Terry?
This looks like to me like a reverse shell.
Simulated making it one way.
Not really reverse, but sort of a squirrel type shell.
Do you do everything in reverse, or do you do?
No, not everything.
And so you're using this. What do you call these?
That's a star tip.
That's a star tip.
Right.
And you're lovely. Could we, yeah.
Isn't that handsome? Isn't that handsome?
These are lovely red roses.
Those are rice flowers now, wafer flowers.
Tell us how you make those, Pat.
I buy them.
Oh, you buy them?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. You know.
And
the other ones I make, though. These here.
Oh, those are your own roses. You made those royal icing.
Right. To make these here wafers, you'd have to use a certain amount of steam, and then you
I
really
noticed,
a lot of work.
Peggy, it's quite interesting that you chose the number 4 roses. Is that of any significance?
You know that, huh?
Yeah, I know that, kid.
And
And the green is what? That's a different kind of icing. What is that?
That's gel. That's writing gel.
Oh, writing gel.
Yes, and
I
you
see.
color it yourself, and
Then you put on silver beads.
yes,
Right?
silver shots. Yeah.
Now, would you call that cake complete?
I think so, except that you'd put happy birthday or whatever.
Oh, I see, yeah.
I'll put
And Mr. Mackle will introduce our speaker, right? Would you like to pull the lucky number? Let's get them all shook up there.
Here they are.
One.
Just make sure I get one.
Okay. Thank you. Oh, no, you pulled 2. Wait a minute, now you pulled 2. Here's the 2 you pulled. You want to put them back or just choose one?
No, I gotta take them.
Okay, thank you. The number is 010939.
Tomorrow to Milford, I'll
Carol Finn, very good.
That was because she knew she couldn't keep.
And now, Mr. Mackle, would you like to introduce the speaker?
How can you introduce me? You don't even know me.
Hey.
How can I introduce you? How can I introduce Glendora if I don't know her? Well, I think I do know her. We've been in each other's company here and there with interviews back and forth, and always on a serious vein, so to speak. Tonight, Glendora is going to take some of this seriousness and put a little humor around it and bring out what she's calling the humor side, or humor in cable TV. And I think, just speaking briefly with Glendora before our meeting, that she will be humorous for us. I always find Glendora humorous anyway, even when she says she's serious. So, Glendora.
Thank you very much, Principal Howard Mankle at the Lincoln School. Hi there, folks. Yes, there has to be a humorous side of cable TV, or we'd all cry. I think one of the funniest things that happened very, very recently. There's this dog, the cable TV company is up on Great Hill Road, and it's woods up there, and it's owned by the Ansonia Water Company. And there's this black dog who's been out there, folks, since August. And he has no home or anything, you know. So I took food to him every day. But then I had another problem when the weather came, you know, the bad weather came, you know, how to keep him warm. You couldn't approach the dog. See, that was the thing. You couldn't get up to the dog and take care of him, get him that way. So I took in a blanket. And that worked all right, fine, until we started having all the snow. And then you see his blanket would get wet. So I'd have to change the blanket every day with another blanket. And so I'd forgotten to do that in the afternoon. And Freddie and I finished cable casting over Channel 10B. And I said, Fred, will you get down to dog with me, and so I can give him his blanket? And this was it's pitch black. And so we parked there, you know, on Great Hill Road. And we went over the fence, and we went into the woods, and I got out his wet blanket, and I put down his dry blanket, and we were just coming out of the woods when the Seymour police came.
Oh! Oh, isn't that nice?
For the so, you know, I said, oh boy, I'm going to be doing the chat with Glendora from the Seymour jail. And so I got out of the woods, and I saw one officer coming out, and he had a great big flash battery complex, you know, and he had his guns and everything else. And then the other officer got out from the driver's side, and I came out of the woods and said, hi! And so the officer who got out from the driver's side, he said, oh, it's Glendora. You know, just like, where would you expect Glendora to be, you know, pitch black, but in the woods feeding some dog. Well, I was telling him all about the dog, you know, and everything.